Well, good morning there, puppies. Wow, get the whole gang out here, getting out of the camper without falling flat on my ass. Wow. Yes, the pack is here to see Daddy. Hey, good Tuesday morning there. Goodness gracious. The kid must be out watering there. Hey, welcome to Ice HTV. Wow, it's already noisy. It's already begun. Hey there, Gypsy, get down, baby, get down. They just love to jump all over you. How come your wife doesn't do this when you get home, right? Or your husband, right? Yeah, I'm like, no thanks. Oh, they're just excited to see the Iceman. Come on, there's Prince as usual, just loves to bark. And there's the ginger baby. Wow, what a beautiful, be a little more beautiful if, Prince would chill out. So it's so funny, everybody's at the barn, but yet I'm walking over this way, right? Why am I doing that? Doesn't make any sense, but oh well. Hey, you guys. You guys are just silly as can be. That's for sure. I wonder where the kid is. I guess, is she in the greenhouse? I don't see her. Yeah, so, yeah, this is kind of backwards today, everybody. I even admit that. Wow. Hey, puppers. And now we go the other way. The other way. Well, I wanted to go in the house. And I was trying to check on the water situation. Boy, oh boy. I thought I was going down a dark hole once again in my life. I'm having to have major well work done. I got to remember to call my well guy, tell him they'll come here tomorrow. Hope I remember to do that today. Great guy. Helped me kind of figure things out over the phone. And it really kind of saved things because I've got a new septic saver thing on my system that like 5 years ago I paid to install, where it can kind of diagnose what's going on if you have a leak in your water line somewhere, whether it be in a house, a toilet. So that kind of really helped me figure this out yesterday. But I was like, up, here we go. Here comes a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 bill for a new pump, or golly forbid, have to drill a new well. That could turn into a $15,000, $20,000 project. Which I don't get in my life. All right, yesterday, took the time yesterday afternoon to clean up the shop with the cars and get the cars back in the shop. And hey, look, no bird crap. I'm even amazed because I moved the motorcycles from the front to the back because the birds were crapping on the bikes. And I didn't like that, but I took the time to literally wipe down all these material things. Was that a project? Tank got a new outfit. The wife got the dogs a new little outfit. Isn't that pretty cool? Come on, pups. Where is everybody? Let's get everybody in. Here's Diesel's here. Yeah, so I just noticed that now. All the pups got some nice new attire. The wife went out of the way to get that. That was very nice of her. Stay here. Come on, where's Willow? So I need his... Well, pal! Where are you, Well, pal? Yeah, but I got the Super Bee. Probably forget about the Super Bee, that Dodge Charger. We never see that much anymore, do we? But I got the Camaro cleaned up. Got the bikes all cleaned up. And I actually even polished them. I wiped them all down first. Got all the debris. But then I actually did a nice polish on them. And got them to look nice and new again. And then kind of feel better. Kind of like anything else. When things are clean, make you feel better. Well, where's all the dogs? Come on, puppies! You know, where'd the pack go? It's the ongoing challenge of keeping the crew together, the pack. Come on, Mondays. Where's Prince? Where's Willow? You know what I'll do? I'll just start putting the food down, and that'll probably get them in here. You guys hungry? All right, let's see here, everybody. Let me get the bowls out, a little more tight, getting in and out of here with all the bowls with the kid. So I don't know what happened there, but man, we go through a lot of dog food, everybody. It's basically about an $80, I'm spending over $300 a month just on dog food. Yeah, am I doing that? I sure am. So here you go. Yeah. Here you go, Pops. Not including all the other things that go along with owning a dog, which my brother, sadly for my brother, he's really in a challenging time. Me and my mother and father are not in great health. My mother's not in good health at all, as you all know that. But also that my brother has a lot of responsibility on his hands. And that's a whole other story. because he has to take care of my father because my mother's in hospice. And come on, Pops, here we go. What I tell you, get the food put down. Come on, Will. Let's go up here, Will. Let's go up here. So come on. So my brother's concern is that if my dad, well, I mean, when my mother passes, nope, you don't go in. No. Go on up there, Willow. You stay there. Musical dogs, musical chairs. That's some musical dogs. Here, come here, Princey, come here, boy. Gotta get this barn closed because otherwise, so 1, 2, 3 bowls down. Need one more, and then we're in pretty good shape. Let's see your pup. But yeah, so my brother, the dogs are too much for him. I think my brother would be wise to let the dogs go because he just is having a hell of a time with those dogs. And in some ways, if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't even have the dogs. So I can just take another blame. I can just take blame for just yet another thing. That's all I do in my life is take the blame game because of once again, if it wasn't for me buying those dogs, my brother wouldn't have a dog. But his real concern is more that if my dad moves in with him, there's no way. Those dogs would injure my dad. So anyways, he hasn't given me the word to put out the word yet that he's in a part of those dogs. But they're still very young where people would want them because they're still, in so many ways, trainable. And because they're now, 6 months old, going on 7 months old. So I was telling Julie last night, if you're watching our last night video, yesterday's evening video, Julie was texting back and forth with my brother and getting a kick out of all the antics of my dad, Popcorn. And so he was just, he's disclosing on how the dogs are just destroying his house. And so it's just overwhelming for him, really. My brother's never ever had 2 dogs at one time, ever. And I even questioned him in Florida if he wanted to keep the 2 dogs, and I'd bring one back. And he wouldn't do it. I said, well, I can bring Luna back. A lot of dogs for me, but we could probably do it. And he's like, nah. I'm like, all right, that's, you've never been a 2-dog guy. And even when I bought the 2 dogs, we were there, I told him, I said, I would probably take one of these dogs back with me. And then he's like, no, I want 2 of them. I'm like, really? So that's why it turned into a 3 purchase, if you ever watched our video. And then eventually it turned into a 4th purchase, because I really wanted 2 puppies of the same age to grow up together. So my brother in Florida, we went to Hudson, Florida to buy those German Shepherd puppies back in November, when we first sat down at my parents' house. The really goal was to buy 3 puppies. 2 of them would come back with me and leave my brother 1. But then my brother was like, no, I want 2. I'm like, all right. So, and now I think my brother regrets that because he sees how much responsibility it is. And I was hoping the dogs would have more fun time together and kind of take the heat off my brother having to raise them and be on them. And they could play and wear each other out. But instead, he's really getting very aggravated. So, can't tell you at this moment how that all plays out. But I'm sure somebody would take those dogs off his hands once the word is put out. And there's German Shepherd Rescue. I mean, there's so many things out there, and so nothing to be worried about at this time, and because my brother would have to first make that decision. Now, the other thing is my dad can maybe move with my sister, my brother-in-law. That would probably be a better accommodation for my father. Would be far better because it's just the way their home is laid out, and my dad used to own the home that my sister and brother-in-law live in, and it used to be a rental property. So it's much more accommodating for an efficiency already set up for my dad. My brother's house, it has steps to get in and out on certain locations, and it just isn't a very big home. And I just think that it would be better for my father to move in with my sister and brother-in-law. But I'm hearing some resistance on that, so I don't know. I don't really know much about that, and we're not there yet because my mother's still here. But that's, it's not good, but it's life. I mean, it's the world we live in. It just amazes me. People think they'll live forever, and not one day you'll be there too. We all will be there, and God made a plan. And part of that plan was for you to eventually become such dire straits that you'd probably rather move on if you believe in God and whatever Savior you believe in. So, but anyways, moving on from that, the texting's already begun on my phone this morning. Been getting tons of texts. business stuff. So got that going off, which is, what time is it, everybody? It's time to bug the guy that owns a company. That's what the time it is. But here we I thought of Sleek Hobbies yesterday, feeling very bad for him. I have an Indian FTR. He has an Indian FTR, and he came off that motorcycle because of the death wobble. And for anybody out there who doesn't know what that is, that's when the handlebars on a motorcycle start to shake and shimmy the whole bike. It's a very, very dangerous thing that happens in motorcycling. And if you've ever been exposed to it, I have been exposed to it. It's freaky. And if you don't know how to handle that situation, and even if you can handle that situation, you're probably going to come off the bike. And I was talking to Julie about this last night. I said, it's so unfortunate. In some ways, I'm surprised that there hasn't been lawsuits filed against Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Harley. And I imagine maybe there have been. I just don't know this stuff. But I was telling Julie last night, I said, what's incredible is on these motorcycles is you have to have like a hydraulic shock. Because in these crotch rockets, these bikes can hit 150, 180, 200 miles an hour. And there's just a magical force that comes into the dynamics of the front wheel, of how the air comes off the front wheel to the back of the bike, the engine, whatever it may be. And it creates this incredible, I'm trying to think of the word that, it creates an inertia. I don't know if that's the appropriate word. But it makes it so the wheel then becomes uncontrollable. The wheel starts to wobble because of this friction of the air mass and the speed in the motorcycle. And so then the front handlebars start to shake. But if you look here at my Fireblade, this bike specifically is designed to be a race motorcycle where it has a hydraulic shock. You see that in there? And that's a stabilizer for the front end steering. So this motorcycle is designed to overcome that inertia that's created in that front wheel so the motorcycle doesn't get the front end shimmy and the wobble, what they call the death wobble. And so like even my daughter's bike, I don't know, I don't see anything in there. So I think that's something you have to add yourself. So even like this motorcycle, my daughter, if she ever really wanted to just take this bike to the extreme speeds, this could possibly play out. Same thing here with this motorcycle. And I'm surprised that it isn't more of an awareness thing from the salespeople, the manufacturers, that have some label on the bike, a warning, death wobble, whatever they want to call it, at a 100 mile an hour plus, this bike could have the loss of control. Because it's not set up to be a motorcycle to be doing those type of speeds. So I don't really know Sleek Hobbies' exact story of what happened for him when he came off his FTR due to the death wobble on that motorcycle. I have no idea how fast he was going. I don't know. I have no idea. He didn't get into anything. He appreciated me speaking of him yesterday for the hearts and prayers for him to recover from his motorcycle accident. Once you go down on a motorcycle, that's a radical thing. It's a radical thing. I just about died a year ago on this motorcycle right here. And if you watch my channel, you're well aware of me just about T-boning a lady pulling right out in front of me when I was doing 50 miles an hour and I locked it up down to about 42 miles an hour. It was just a split second difference of me literally hitting that motorcycle, that car, and then me coming off this motorcycle with probably death or severe lifelong injuries, all from a young girl who didn't want to obey the road and decided she just whatever the hell she wants to do. So you know about that video if you really watch my channel. But I've also been on my Street Glide Harleys years ago, hitting about 110 miles an hour, and all of a sudden that front end starts getting that death wobble. I've been on that, and it's freaky as hell. And I'm now like, wow, I just created a problem. Do I recover? And I did recover from that without coming off the motorcycle. But a lot of people don't recover. And once again, is there anything there on the motorcycle that forewarns you anywhere of a warning, or somebody tells you that, hey, when you buy these motorcycles, they're not designed or engineered for these high speeds, and you can get yourself into a loss of control situation. But you have to understand the dynamics. It's a lot of variables that play out on these front end of these motorcycles. And that Indian Pursuit that I bought, if everybody knows that, that was a lengthy, long, ongoing challenge of me getting at lower speeds the shimmy shake of the front end of that Indian Pursuit. And it was a freaky feeling, especially going through corners. When I would go through corners at 35, 40 miles an hour, that whole front end, the whole steering wheel started, moving around on me. It was the weirdest feeling in the world going through corners with that motorcycle. Then at certain speeds, it did the same thing. And then you just have a loss of confidence in the motorcycle, what you're riding, and how you're going to, that's the thing about a motorcycle, is the loss of confidence. Do you have the confidence in something that you ride, or do you lose the confidence because of the motorcycle has the antics that it has? And a lot of people were saying, you're just crying the blues over something that's minuscule. I wouldn't worry about it. And from my position was, okay, so if this motorcycle has this issue at 35 miles an hour, there's a sweet spot of like that 30 or 40 miles an hour, that front end started shaking. And I have video on my channel of the Indian Pursuit of me videoing going down the road with that motorcycle, where you could see how radical it really was. But I just always thought, once you hit the 50, 60 miles an hour, 50, 60 mile an hour, 70, it didn't seem to have that. But you always had in the back of your mind, but what if it comes back? What if when I'm doing 75, 80, 90 miles an hour on a motorcycle, and that same situation comes back? I mean, how confident do you feel in a motorcycle? I'm like, I don't want to be the person to have to be the first Indian guy in a Pursuit to come off a bike at 80 miles an hour saying, oh, this thing had a problem at 35, 40, but everybody came to closure that it was only that speed that inertia, whatever happens in that force of air coming off that wheel and tire back into like the blower radiator area down there, what is going on with that change of dynamics of the airflow that then radiates back into you of your motorcycle becoming unstable. So once again, the point of my conversation this morning is, I wonder how many salespeople that sell motorcycles, especially these crotch rockets, explain to people, okay, you're starting, if you ride this motorcycle at extreme speeds, you have to set it up as more of a race motorcycle, and you're going to have to add some things onto this front end steering so that you don't have the death wobble. But I'm not the expert on that by any means. I'm just speaking off the tip of my tongue. But once again, what it comes into is your confidence. And I thought to myself, wow, are we living in the most incompetent or the most least confident time among us? Is that crazy what's going on right now? I mean, it really is. If you look around us, really, can anybody really get a handle on what's going on in our country? I mean, between Elon Musk coming in and creating the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and exposing how corrupt our government is, from seeing that to now seeing Donald Trump spike tariffs worldwide on everything for the tariff wars of the world. I mean, does anybody have any real confidence of where we're going? I mean, the stock market is crashing. The experts say the real crash hasn't yet actually happened. This is just a little adjustment, but the bigger one's coming down the road. Who knows? Everybody gets to talk about things. But the whole point is, does anybody have confidence? I mean, do you have confidence of where we're going now? I mean, do you have confidence that the government really is going to be cleaned up, and that the waste of the taxpayers' monies and the elites and the specialty groups and people get the money, and everybody else just gives it to them to continue to abuse the government's tax policies? Do you really believe that Donald Trump's tariffs are going to create the prosperity of this country like never ever seen, but yet strip it of other world powers? I mean, that's what cracks me up. It's like, so now, and I get it. We're not in other countries because of their high tariffs against us. I get the message. But at the same time, there's so much stuff we just don't really cater to worldwide that I see that really opens the door that we're making the dollar China crap with the 10 cent an hour paid person in the factory that's creating waste like never seen next to the rivers and the mountainsides of our country, and the government just looks the other way. I don't see how it's possible. And that's why I talked about it so many times, that so many executives back when Clinton was in office and really did set off the world market of trade to cater to the Chinese, I always thought to myself, even being that young, was, here now, you can employ people overseas and have a subsidy or have a whole different structured organization overseas that you're not going to have to take the fall for because you're independent from that country. And if they are abusing the labor laws and the waste and every environmental, you're shielded. So these companies realize they could abuse the powers to be of making cheap products at the expense of, forced labor, at the expense of waste on the land. But they themselves would never take the penalties and punishment for it because it's a foreign country. I mean, come on. I mean, and that's what goes on too. You hear about all this child labor. You hear all this child abuse. The sexual abuse, and in these borderline third world countries that these young people are being abused sexually. And what's really sad is there's people that leave our country, they go on a so-called vacation. And this is factual, everybody. You may not want to hear this stuff. But I mean, I truly believe I know some of these people over the years that would want to go to these destinations only to have the rights to abuse a young person, but they can't get locked up over there because that society allows it. And then they fly back home and they have their nice little party by being an adult abusing a minor. I mean, this stuff goes on. It's rampant. This is probably major touring areas of the world. That's the dirty secret of so many people tour these other countries that abuse children, basically. But people just don't think about it. It's just the dark web, the dark secrets of mankind. Of everybody has their challenges in life, and what is your challenge? Everybody knows my challenge is I'm a guy that has to go out and buy a car all the time, which has, in the end, really, really not been a good thing for me. But at the same time, I had a hell of a run. And it cracks me up. The people really don't follow my channel. They just kind of see it here and there. They're like, hey, when's the next car purchase or motorcycle purchase? It's like, you don't watch my channel because those days are done. It's more about what's the next thing that goes bye-bye. That's what it's really more about, is that's not about getting more stuff. It's about getting rid of stuff. And how do you even get rid of stuff? It blows me away how I've advertised Harley Davidson's, my motorcycles, at CVO out in my trailer. And I mean, it's beyond believable how nobody is going to buy that thing. And the number they're throwing on it is beyond believable. I mean, it's just beyond believable that people just don't, but yet my friends that work at the car dealership and the motorcycle dealerships, apparently things are okay, I guess. I don't know. I mean, they're all still there employed. The truckloads of cars and motorcycles still show up. So, but are you confident? I mean, so is the confidence eroding in our country? Is it getting stronger more than ever because of Donald Trump's in office? And for those that are the big Trumpsters, truly believe that he's going to right the ship at any cost, and that for the long term, our country is going to be the biggest winner of them all, and everybody else will be the biggest losers of them all. Or do we all come to the same level playing field, and it's another the happy place world that never exists? Does anybody know that? And does China toe heel and bend the knee for Donald Trump? Which that'll be very, very interesting. So that's it, everybody. I don't want to talk any longer. Got a busy day, and just want to say good morning to you. Try to give you some ideas and thoughts, and recognize Sleek Hobby, thoughts and prayers for you because of what happened in your life. And we can only hope that you have a full recovery. And do you get on a motorcycle again or not? I don't know. I'm sure that's a hard decision once you go down like that. Is it really worth the fun and excitement for all the suffering and pain that you go through after you come off a motorcycle? I get that message. So everybody, God bless. Have a great day. And stay tuned for more Ice Age TV adventures.